You blew straight through that stop sign back there. I saw it clear as day.
I stopped. Maybe not as long as you wanted, but I stopped. There's a camera at that corner. Check it.
Don't get smart with me.
Chad.
Hey, step back.
She's mouthing off, Marie.
And you're escalating.
Take a breath.
I'm just asking why I'm being threatened with a ticket for something I didn't do.
Chad, let's talk.
A furious police officer slammed a quiet black woman against her own car at a gas station. He shouted that she disrespected him and dragged her out by her arm in front of a growing crowd. People recorded. Kids cried. Her phone hit the ground. But what the officer didn't know, what no one there knew, was that this woman he was humiliating, this soft-spoken woman in a red beanie, had the kind of power that could break careers, shake cities, and flip the entire moment on its head, and when her truth reached the crowd, the whole place froze. Before we go deeper, make sure you subscribe to the channel and drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. This story gets wild. Get out of the vehicle. Officer Chad Millwater's voice exploded across the gas station parking lot like a thunderbolt. Denise Rowan froze behind the wheel, both hands lifted, palms open. She was still parked at pump 6. The meter hadn't even started running yet. She'd only just arrived. I didn't do anything, she whispered. Millwater stepped closer, boots pounding the concrete. His jaw was clenched so tight the veins in his neck bulged. I said get out, he barked again, reaching inside her open window. His hand latched onto her wrist with a snap. A mother filling her minivan nearby gasped. A teenager lifted his phone. A man shouted, "Yo." She didn't do nothing. But no one stepped in. Denise's voice trembled. Please, why are you grabbing me? You rolled through a stop sign then got smart with me, Millwater snarled. Now get out before you make this worse. He yanked her arm harder. Denise's phone slipped from her lap and clattered to the pavement. Live streams began instantly. The entire station buzzed with whispers and shock. Denise Rowan didn't look like someone important. She wore old jeans with paint on them. A black leather jacket she'd had since college. A red beanie pulled low because the wind was cold. She drove a dull brown hatchback that rattled when idle. Most people who met her assumed she worked a minimum wage job. Some spoke slowly to her like she didn't understand big words. Some called her sweetheart or Miss Girl, even when she introduced herself as Ms. Rowan. No one imagined she was someone who'd once stood in war rooms. No one imagined she had medals locked away in a safe. No one imagined she owned 3 small companies spread across 2 states, or that she had trained people who protected the most important buildings in the country. Denise never advertised any of that. She was the kind of person who avoided fights, breathed deeply, stayed polite, and did everything possible to never escalate a situation. But her quiet didn't mean she was weak. No, her quiet was built from years of holding the line in places where fear ruled. Today she was scared. Not of Millwater's strength. Not of being handcuffed. Not even of the humiliation. She was scared because she could feel her old panic waking up, the one she thought she had buried. The one from nights overseas when lights flashed and hands grabbed without warning. Sir, please, she whispered. Millwater yanked her door open. She stumbled out, almost falling, but stayed on her feet. Gas station lights glowed on her face, showing her fear. Hands behind your back, he snapped. For a stop sign? She asked softly. For resisting, he shot back. Bystanders exchanged looks. A college girl whispered, "This dude is unhinged." But still, no one stepped forward. Millwater's body cam blinked red. Recording. He pushed her against the side of the car, the metal cold on her cheek. You people love playing victim, he muttered under his breath. Denise flinched. I didn't disrespect you, she said. I only asked what I did wrong. And that's the problem, Millwater hissed. You think you get to question me? He tightened his grip on her wrists. I'm not resisting, Denise said. Her voice cracked. His eyes flashed with something dark. He was feeding off the moment. He liked that she was scared. He liked that people were watching. You keep talking, he said, and I'll add disorderly conduct too. For talking? She whispered. For anything I want, he said. Her heart pounded. Every breath felt smaller than the last. Denise looked at the scattered crowd. Eyes wide. Phones up. People frozen between fear and guilt. Help, she whispered. No one moved. Then Millwater leaned closer to her ear. You think those people are gonna help you? He said. They won't. They never do. He pressed her harder against the car. Stop, she said. Please. You're hurting me. You're about to hurt more, he growled. His hand moved toward his cuffs. But a beep crackled through his radio. Unit 12, Supervisor Linton en route to your location, the dispatcher announced. Millwater stiffened. His face twitched. He looked around, noticing the phones, the crowd, the tension. He had gone too far too fast. But instead of easing up, he doubled down. "I'm detaining her before the supervisor gets here," he snapped, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Why?" someone shouted. "Because she escalated," he yelled, pointing at Denise like she was a wild animal. Denise's knees shook. She wasn't crying, but her eyes burned. She wasn't even thinking about her own safety. She was thinking about how easily he could twist the story, how easily the world believed someone like him over someone like her. Denise forced her breathing to slow. She remembered a man once yelling in her face during an overseas operation. A man who thought she was nothing. A man who didn't know her position, her rank, or her clearance level. She had survived that moment with grace. And she would survive this one too. She let her shoulders drop. She kept her voice steady. "Officer," she said, "you're making a mistake." Millwater laughed loudly. "A mistake? Lady, you're the only mistake here." He reached for her wrists again, harder. A black patrol SUV screeched into the lot. Supervisor Linton stepped out, tall, sharp, and with a face that could slice tension like a knife. "Millwater," she shouted the moment her boots hit the pavement. "What are you doing?" Millwater stepped back slightly, annoyed. "She refused a lawful order," he said. "I'm detaining her." Linton looked at Denise, then at the crowd, then at the phones pointed at them. Her stomach sank. "Why is she out of the car?" Linton asked. "Non-compliance," Millwater said. "And disrespect." "Disrespect isn't a crime," Linton snapped. Millwater's jaw flexed. He didn't like being corrected. And he hated being corrected in public. "Well, Esichi." "Enough," Linton said. She turned to Denise. "Ma'am," she said gently, "are you hurt?" Denise swallowed. "A little," she whispered. Her voice shook. The crowd murmured. Some lowered their phones. Some kept streaming. Linton stepped between Denise and Millwater, a shield of calm authority. But Millwater wasn't calm. His ego was boiling over. "She's lying," he barked. "I followed procedure." "No," Linton cut in. "You didn't." His face reddened dangerously. Millwater pointed at Denise, rage spilling out. "She thinks she can talk to me any kind of way. She thinks she's above the law." Denise looked up slowly, eyes shining, not with fear now but something deeper, older, heavier. "Officer," she said softly, "I never said I was above the law." She paused. "But you're about to learn who I really am." The crowd went still. Linton blinked, confused. Millwater scoffed loudly. "And who exactly are you?" he mocked. Denise didn't answer. Not yet. She reached slowly, very slowly, into her jacket pocket. Millwater jumped, placing a hand on his gun. "HOI," he screamed. "Don't move." Linton spun. "Chat, stop." "She's not reaching for a weapon." Denise pulled out a small worn leather case. Dark brown. Edges cracked. A case most people had never seen in real life. She held it gently as if it carried the weight of years. The crowd leaned in. Phones raised again. Millwater's eyes narrowed. "What is that?" Denise opened it. And inside was a badge. But not a police badge. Not a state ID. Not something an average citizen carried. No. This badge was federal. Deep level. Heavy metal. Black and gold. One issued only to people cleared for the highest rooms of government. People who made decisions that could shift nations. Denise Rowan was not ordinary. She was not some woman in a beanie. She was not someone to drag around like trash at a gas station. She was someone with power. Real power. And now, for the first time that night, Millwater realized it. His face drained white. He stepped back. What is this?" he whispered. Denise closed the badge case softly. Then she looked him dead in the eye. "You just assaulted a protected federal officer," she said. "On camera." The crowd burst into gasps. Linton's jaw dropped. Millwater's whole body went rigid. Denise lifted her chin. "And the worst part," she said quietly, "you did it because you thought I was nobody." For a full 3 seconds no one moved. The gas station was dead quiet. You could hear the hum of the pumps. You could hear the buzz of a phone notification. You could even hear the shaky breath Denise took as she closed the badge case. Officer Chad Millwater's face dropped like someone had cut all the strings holding it up. His mouth parted, but no sound came out. Supervisor Linton stared with her eyebrows lifted so high they almost touched her hairline. The live stream audience exploded in comments from every direction. "OMG. She federal? He is done. Call a lawyer ASAP." Y'all, this is crazy. This is about to go nuts. Millwater tried to speak. That's fake, he croaked. Denise's eyes hardened. She opened the case again so he could see inside. There was a hologram. There was a microchip. There was a signature from someone whose name he recognized instantly. And above all that, printed in clear block letters, United States Strategic Protective Operations, Field Director. Denise Rowan. Field Director. She slipped the case back in her pocket. Fake. Denise asked softly. You sure about that? Millwater swallowed. Linton's hand flew to her forehead. Oh my God, she whispered. Chad, what did you do? People stepped closer. A man near Pump 4 said, Yo, she really federal. Officer Dude is done. A mother shook her head. He dragged her like she was nothing, and she never once raised her voice. A teenager zoomed in on Denise's pocket. This live got 10,000 watchers already. The crowd energy shifted. At first they were scared of the officer. Now they were watching him fall. And they wanted every moment. Millwater's breath sped up. He looked around like the world had turned against him. This isn't what it looks like, he stuttered. It's exactly what it looks like, Denise replied. Supervisor Linton stepped between them. Officer Millwater, she said sharply, step back from Ms. Rowan. He didn't move. Now. He stepped back. For the first time, Denise stood tall. Straight. Calm. Unshaking. Her wrists were still red from his grip. Her cheeks still stung from the cold metal of the car. But her spirit? Stronger than the concrete beneath them. Ms. Rowan, Linton said, her voice steady but tense, I deeply apologize. I need to understand what happened here. Denise didn't shout. She didn't cry. She didn't rage. She simply spoke the truth. He approached me as I pulled in, she said. He said I rolled a stop sign I never passed. I asked what I did wrong. He dragged me out. Linton turned to Millwater with a look that could melt steel. Is that correct? She asked. Millwater looked like he had swallowed fire. She questioned me, he said. That's not a crime, Linton snapped. She refused orders. Orders for what? She demanded. You had no cause. Millwater's face twisted. She was disrespectful. Denise blinked slowly. That word, she said. Disrespectful. That's what you call it when someone like me doesn't bow their head fast enough. The crowd murmured. Some nodded. Some whispered, say that. A young girl whispered to her mother, she's brave. Denise continued. You saw a black woman in an old car. You didn't see who I am. You didn't care who I am. Millwater looked like he was shrinking. Linton looked like she was trying not to explode. Supervisor Linton pulled out her radio. Dispatch, supervisor speaking, she said. I need internal affairs at my location immediately. Millwater's eyes widened. No, Marie, don't do this. You did this to yourself, Linton said sharply. Marie, please, he begged. My record, my job, please don't let them. But Linton didn't even look at him. She was staring at Denise. The way someone looks at someone who deserved better from the world. Ms. Rowan, she said softly, I'm ordering him off duty. Effective immediately. She turned. Millwater, hand me your badge and gun. He froze. Now, she said. His hands shook as he unholstered his weapon. He placed the badge in her palm like it was burning him. The crowd filmed every second. People whispered, he losing everything. He really thought she was nobody. Bro is cooked. Millwater's voice cracked. You're ruining me. No, Denise said quietly. You ruined yourself. Internal affairs pulled into the station. Ambulance lights flashed in the distance, someone having called for medical check. The moment felt like the world had stopped turning. Linton guided Denise away from the car. Do you need medical treatment? Linton asked. Yes, Denise whispered. My wrist hurts. And my arm. Linton nodded quickly. We'll take care of that. People approached timidly. One woman with a stroller said, Ma'am, I'm so sorry you went through that. A man in a hoodie said, we should have stepped in. I feel ashamed. A teenager who filmed the whole thing lowered his phone and said, Ma'am, you're stronger than all of us. Denise gave a small smile. I'm not stronger, she said. I've just been through enough to know when to stand tall. She looked at Millwater one last time. He sat on the curb, head in his hands, shaking. He wasn't angry anymore. He was broken. He finally saw what the world was seeing. A man who abused someone he should have protected. A man who didn't know power unless he was holding it. A man who learned, too late, that power can belong to the quiet ones too. More officers arrived. Higher ranking. Serious faces. They spoke to Linton. They spoke to Denise. They spoke to witnesses. Millwater stayed silent, staring at the ground. Every few minutes his lips trembled. He knew what was coming. Suspension. Investigation. Media coverage. Lawsuits. Disciplinary hearings. Maybe even charges. But the worst part wasn't any of that. The worst part, the one thing he would never forget, was the way Denise looked at him. Not with anger. Not with revenge. Not even with satisfaction. But with disappointment. Deep, human disappointment. Like seeing a child throw away their own future. Two IA investigators approached Denise. "Ma'am, we'll need your statement," one said. "We also saw your credentials," the other added. "We'll be contacting your department for verification." Denise nodded. But she kept her eyes on Millwater. "Before I give my statement," she said softly, "I want to say one thing." The investigators stepped aside. The crowd leaned in. Linton crossed her arms. Millwater lifted his head slowly. Denise's voice stayed calm, so calm it shook everyone. "Officer Millwater," she said, "I don't hate you." He blinked. His lip trembled. "I don't want you hurt. I don't want your life destroyed. I don't want your family suffering." The crowd murmured. Someone whispered, "Wow. But what you did was wrong," she said. "And you did it because you thought I was small. You thought I was powerless. You thought my voice didn't matter." Millwater wiped his eyes. Denise stepped a little closer. "No job, no badge, no amount of training will fix that until you fix how you see people like me." He swallowed hard. "And until you do," she finished, "you should not be the one holding the power." Millwater buried his face in his hands again. As Denise turned away, Linton placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You handled this with more grace than most people ever could," Linton said quietly. Denise looked out at the crowd, the lights, the cameras, the night air swirling around her. Then she spoke the last words of the night. "Power doesn't live in the badge. Power lives in the truth of how you treat people." The crowd went still. Someone whispered, "I'll remember that forever." If you learned something powerful from this story, hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments. What would you have done if you were in Denise's place?